Kayfabe crew, what's going on? Oh, you know what? Let me do one thing real quick. And let me plug in my internet connection just so that it's speedier and better and smoother. Give me 1 second, man. It's been a while, guys. There, that should give us a real solid connection so that things don't break down as we move forward with the vid. So I am on page 16 of issue 3 of the next series of Red Room comics. Trigger Warnings is the name of this season. Same deal as everything else, man. Self-contained comics that tell a complete story each issue, but they fit into the wider universe. Yeah, I was like looking at this story is a cross between Wicker Man, Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, Midsummer. Now that Squid Game is out, man, people are going to make those comparisons by the time this comes out. You got to know I've been working on this shit for 2 months now. It's brutal. So we're on an island with maybe 75 inhabitants or something, Pitcairn Islands, and they got a hold of this guy, and this is their form. This is like the handcuffs of Pitcairn Islands. They take a slingshotted tree trunk, run some rebar through it while a dude's head is pinned in there, and this motherfucker just has to like carry this tree stump around all bent over and hunched, and you can see they put some work in on him. Yeah, this is the folk horror issue of Red Room. The previous issue, which will be issue 2 of Trigger Warnings, is going to be the hoodie horror issue of Red Room. I really got inspired a lot doing that EC flavored story, and I just wanted to try to like explore more, horror type subgenres that fit into modern day, deal with fears that we can have here, like here and now, rather than age old fears or whatnot. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get that EC cover artist edition, and the reason for that is because, I have the Jack Davis, I have Mad, I have some of the other EC books, and they double dip a little bit. They're repeat offenders, man. And for how expensive those books are, that offends me, kind of. There shouldn't be one new page. I like just for my own buying dollar. That freaks me out. So I just need to see that book first before I purchase it, and see how much double dipping they do. How many of those pages do I have reprinted in other artist editions? Tony Lewis from UK, man. Shouts, man. Thanks for coming to the channel. One of the things I like to do whenever I bust out a new stream is I'm curious where you guys are from. Where are you watching this stream from? I'm sitting in quaint Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we had a Cartoonist Kayfabe recording session earlier today. Went really well. Finished editing my videos, so for the rest of the day, I've earned myself some Red Room time. Happy to be here with you guys. I know you guys liked a lot of those shoot interviews we did recently, didn't you? Those things are such an education. Like, I'm very specific about the people I chat with, man, and I really want people who are gonna have good information to share. Klaus Janson, excellent at that. Uncle Jeff Darrow, excellent at that, man. Brian Bolin, come on now. And then when you get those guys on, anybody else looks foolish saying no to us. So that just opens up more and more possibilities. We did have a shoot interview scheduled, but there was an emergency with the person we were going to talk to, so we had to call an audible. But you guys will not be disappointed. Didn't do a shoot interview this week, so don't expect that on Sunday. But it's not going to be a bad vid, I promise you that. Oh yeah, man. Tom could come and be on the show as much as he feels like, man. You know, that's my brother from another mother. Hanging out with Tom and Jim was like one of the most important things in my whole life, in my whole career. Because I was the young buck, man, and they were like proper married men and professionals and stuff. They had all the information. You know, I learned so much from them. Congrats on being able to find that Dark Knight Gallery edition. We also did a video about that thing. You might want to check that out. That's what Klaus was talking about when he was like, you guys know your stuff. I'm just bullshitting right here, man. Just coming up with some ornate little shit to put on this kind of cauldron thing. Let's get some cool foreground elements into the piece. KB, thanks for that super chat. Let's see. With these kind of like long shots, I like to just use marker fine liners. But I think let's see what we could get out of this. Yeah, it's not bad. It's been months and months since we did one, but I finally am in a place where I just have the time to set the stuff up. I was using every second of time for the comic, and you know, setting up these webcams and shit doesn't take forever, but it doesn't take 0 seconds either. Six Element, thanks for the super chat. Talk with Scheme. Oh yeah. I would love to talk and hang out with you and Scheme on your YouTube channel. Yeah, he's one of my favorite people in the universe. And I traveled the world with that dude. You know, we went to South Korea, I think France, all kinds of places. And he's a DJ and is as nerdy about comics and pop culture as any cartoonist kayfabe dude. I had him over my house. Like, he lives on the other side of the state, man. He lives in Philadelphia, and I'm in Pittsburgh. But he just so happened to be in town here maybe the day before I went to Japan. And he's been to Japan a lot of times, man. It was my first time going. And I was able to pull his coat and just get a lot of intel, man. Like, he schooled me with a lot of stuff, and I went and saw some of the people he mentioned and had great days because of him. Yeah, email me. Let's set that up for sure. All right, that's one foreground piece of this panel. All these images are just building into each other. Hopefully it's not too confusing. You know, storytelling is paramount. But like Klaus Janson said, we're entertainers also. I love that he said that so much. Because, you know, existing mostly in the independent space, when, you know, my brethren are largely formalists, not Jim and Tom specifically, but just like independent comics of the stuff that I cut my teeth on, the SPX kind of crowd. It's formalism, and it's almost like poetry. But how does poetry work now? Poets write poetry for other poets to read. Very insular, very whack to do, just like from a cultural standpoint. Not interested in really impressing my professional brethren in that way. Like, I'm aiming for the other, you know, 6.999999999 billion people on the planet. Jim Dietz, man, it's been way too long, sir. It's been way too long since I've seen you. I miss you, man. The idea of like this kind of folk horror stuff, it's certainly dealing with this kind of not deserted island, but this nearly uninhabited island or barely inhabited island. Is that you have to, like Wicker Man, like Midsummer, you have to like think through a culture. You have to like design a new culture, and that was really fun. Like because I'm keeping strict to the story, like you're only catching glimmers and glimpses of this other culture, but it's there and it required some thinking and sometimes just drawing weird ornamental shit like this thing I'm drawing right now that has no place in the Western world or something or Eastern world for that matter. It's just some weird tchotchke, but it might have importance in the culture of this weird island. The clothes, some of the interaction, kind of the lottery portion of the piece, man, is unique to their culture, something you and I would not understand, but you kind of would if you realize the reason why they're doing the things that they're doing. I don't know why I keep changing between implements, but I just feel like I want these eyes to be used black sooner than later. All right. No, I don't have an artist edition or studio edition type thing planned because I need to churn and burn pages, man. Like my focus is on just making a damn thing. I'm super thankful to you, the Kayfabe audience, for really showing up in a big way for the series. Um, the best-selling, floppy comic in Fantagraphics history. And here's the way it breaks down. Red Room issue number 1, best-selling Fantagraphics comic ever. Second is Red Room issue number 4. So that's super cool, super huge, man. When you get a subsequent issue to sell better than like issue 2, you're on the right track. Third top selling Fantagraphics comic, Red Room issue number 2. And fourth top selling Fantagraphics comic, Red Room issue number 3. That's fucking dope. And I got to thank you guys building this platform. Here it is instrumental in that number. The variant covers by my brother from another mother, Jim Rugg, and my friends Peach Momoko, Troy Nixie, Takashi Okazaki, and Uncle Jeff Darrow goose those numbers. I'm not ignorant to any of those facts, man. I know that there are elements outside of my control that helped create that number, but it's a strong number and it's fierce, man. It was the third issue was the top selling kind of indie comic the month that it came out, and it's going to be fun to see where the month Red Room issue 4 came out, like how that stacks up, man, because it's competing just with like Batman and all the Batman titles and all the Spider-Man titles and all that nonsense, like it's a top selling non-jobber comic. So that is majorly to the credit of the Cartoonist Kayfabe audience, and I'm very, very appreciative of that, guys. Like, you don't even know, because I think I said it before, but I wanted to do this weird comic after X-Men, using the Cartoonist Kayfabe platform to see what I could do with it, because this is my weirdest comic idea that I had in mind at the moment. You know, so like let me see what I could do with my weirdest, most maybe not commercial idea, but an idea that absolutely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, will turn a good subsection of comics readers off with this gore shit. It just turns out, man, that there's plenty of other sick fucks out there that ain't shy about checking this kind of thing out. So it's a good sign. And once again, I don't know what this is, man. This is just some weird foreground thing. Kirby would do that shit. Just have weird totems and stuff in kind of alien spaces. It's really good to be streaming again. So happy to be here with you guys. I plan on doing a lot more of that. You know, got a lot of new stuff coming out, and I don't want to rest. Don't want to rest on the laurels, you know. Every day, man, escaping poverty. Every day. No chance of a digest version because I fear moire patterns from the duotone. I think if it shrinks up anymore, it could cause trouble production wise. Could become ugly, and that would just defeat the purpose. If anything, bigger. You know, up to 9x12 would be possible, because that's the smallest I drew some issues. I started doing the 11x17 again, just because when you draw small, it's very, I don't know what the word is, man. You just don't get much wrist movement, and I like making strokes. You know, I could be a little more free. I'm not. I want to use the art of reduction to my benefit too. You know, like things really tighten up when you reduce it by 60% or whatever it is from this size to the final comic size. So just use everything I can at my disposal to try to make a good looking product. Absolute Arkham Asylum, that would require us to have the comic, but you could send yours to me at P.O. Box 3071, Munhall, PA 15120, Cartoonist Kayfabe, care of Ed Piskor, and I'll be happy to take your Absolute Arkham Asylum off your hands and do a video. Tips for balancing social media interaction with making comics. Yeah, stay off of social media. Put that little governor on your phone, man, that allows you to fuck with it 1 hour per day tops. Abide by that. Stay the hell off that shit, man. That's a sink for creativity. You think Uncle Jeff Darrow is sitting on Twitter while coming up with those super ornate pages of his for Shaolin Cowboy? Nah, man. He's sitting down. He's putting pen to paper and doing the real shit. Social media is just like the television of the modern age, man, where people back in the day were just wasting so much time watching TV. Everybody's wasting their time on that fucking phone. Grant Morrison is a pretty dope artist. Like, I don't have much stuff that reprints a lot of his work, but I've seen a lot of it online and in little places here and there. Also, super cool that he had self-awareness enough to kind of like realize, I could probably be a carpenter with this, a reasonably professional journeyman job dude. Or take the time, work on that craft of writing, and get extra strong at that. That's incredible self-awareness. Once again, that's something that Klaus was talking about in the shoot interview we did with him, man, and definitely something I've always thought about, man. You just gotta be tough on yourself, or at least very honest. Probably saving no time jumping from tool to tool like this, but that's just how my compulsions work. If you guys have ever gone to art school, you realize that everybody has like a weird kink to the way they draw, a weird fetish object or whatever, man. I still remember one of my teachers at the Kubert school. The dude really cared a lot about the way ears were drawn. Like, if you drew bad ears on your guy, man, he would damn near fail you. And it's not like fetish in the sexual sense of the word. It's like you're not referencing properly, man. You got a pair of ears, and everybody around you does. Why are you drawing bad looking ears? I see his point. Now, I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to save time and use one tool at a time. I think I have a fear of forgetting about a thought. Like, I want to do this. And I have some kind of fear that I might forget to do that. And forgetting to do that is completely negligible to the quality of the comic. None of you will ever realize what I forgot to do if I do forget to do some of these things. But it's all just grace notes, something to look at. If thoughts are gifts from the gods, then they need to give me some a little more expensive, man, because ideas are freaking cheap. Dime a dozen. Nah, no clues on the next shoot interview because we don't know who it's going to be. You know, we're taking at least a week off. Got to keep you guys honest, man. Got to keep you guys honest. Mm. What is Jim working on? The $1,000,000 question. You know, we really don't have anything specific planned for 50,000 subs. But what I will tell you is that when we get to 100, I'm really going to be thinking long and hard. I mean, right now I'm thinking long and hard about how to create the Cartoonist Kayfabe Comic Festival. And I need a big audience in order to do that because I need it to be worthwhile. And I'm going to get very, very serious about it whenever we get 100,000 subscribers. Uh, Comic conventions, I just know that I could put on something better than anything we've experienced. I've been going to them and participating in them for 30 years. Um, I know what's lacking, and we're going to have to start doing that. Eventually, there's going to have to be cartoonist kayfabe festivals. You want something right, you got to do it yourself. And I'm getting my head around doing something like that. I think next year we're gonna have to come up with an Inktober list, Kayfabetober, just on top of all of our other duties. We neglected that. Man. These are Copic fine liners or multi-liners or something like that, they're called. They're just blacker ink than your standard microns. It also feels smoother, man. It's like butter on the page. The tactility is just so much more kind of sensual. It's a whack line. Oh, why he values privacy. Closed off word balloon. I just uh, sometimes I'll just get the template in there and do the bubble, draw the background, and see where the pencil lines end, and then draw the tail afterward, and then just white that out. Um, you don't want the tail to end where something else ends. So I'm not so precious with the art like that. I have no problem whiting things out or handling that kind of thing in digitally. But yeah, it's not like any kind of special speech thing or, very conscious of doing that. It wasn't a mistake. But it will not show up that way in the final printed page. This kind of tapered stuff is always good with. Aaron, thanks for checking out the comics since those Picar days, man. Harvey Picar was a great kind of boot camp of comics for me. Having to produce a lot of pages in a very short amount of time. I learned a lot. Like, I can't speak highly of the work I did because of the rush jobs I had to do and everything, but definitely learned a lot. Oh yeah, I wanted to make this wood seem split more where the rebar fits in. I do remember yesterday that was something I noticed when I was revisiting the pages. Nah, I never spilled ink on a page and ruined it. Definitely had blobs and shit like that happen, but I feel like I'm professional enough to be able to fix anything, even if it requires just a redraw. It's that thing that Klaus said in the shoot interview, man. Like, we're responsible for the page. Like, nobody wants to hear any nonsense, no complaints, full accountability. dude's like a super rich kind of tech millionaire guy, and he's rocking some Gucci loafers. This guy first showed up in the Free Comic Book Day comic. Hope you guys check that out. My style is just my style, man. I ain't chasing anybody. I mean, I'm certainly putting more lines on the page, man, so whatever that's worth. Fletch, what is your favorite shop, man? Quimby's? I have a copy of a PDF of the Free Comic Book Day comic at my Patreon. Grab the PDF of that if you weren't able to scoop one up during Free Comic Book Day. Draw some cool filigree. I'm actually not into that on this guy. Control Z. Analog style. Everglen, man, shouts, dude. Congrats on the New Yorker work that you've been doing. Those cartoons have been freaking excellent. Been paying attention to your career for since I met you, man. Thought highly of it when I first saw the work, man, and the work is just escalating and increasing in skill and super inspiring. Mm. For about the foot. Yeah, that's better. Man, this is issue 3 of the next set, trigger warnings. So I guess this will come out February. This is the oddest story. I do think, I mean, I wouldn't be working on something that I think's a piece of crap, but it is a departure, and it's going to be fun to see what you guys think about it. I really missed finding new comics that were just these weird, dark, duotoned, raw, black and white, graphomania, wrong kind of comics. I had to do one. So then when you do one, why stop there? So I'll do 13 at least. But this shit is really fun. I like the universe I'm creating. And if I feel like it, I'll just keep doing more, man. Yeah, I read Twisted Tales and like those other Pacific joints. Tepid. Tepid comics. I want this island. Like, this is the first time we're inside an actual building, structure on this island, and I want it to feel rickety. Dirt floors, holes in walls. Like, this island is barely sustainable. And it's in such dire straits that, that's where the red rooms come in. Leave it at that for now, but if you follow the streams, as I produce more pages, it will make more and more sense. See, just fucking up this building, man. Like, it's like it barely ever saw a good day. Because these people in this island, they need to be desperate to try anything. That's kind of the Wicker Man part. Got to do certain things for the harvest, right? Make some sacrifices to the gods. It's so funny looking at the monitor so small on my computer. Like, this page doesn't look like anything. It just looks like a mess. I'm sure I could save it and make it plenty readable. That's where the gray tones come in a lot of ways. To add even another layer of detail and complication. But I can highlight focal points really easy. Let me add some of my... Well, you know what? Let me kick in some black. I could dip a brush in this inkwell and spot my blacks that way, but the black of this Copic ink is just much nicer to look at. Alright, now let me add some bullshit Todd McFarlane lines and stuff. Because we don't like too much white space, right? That wouldn't be... So he would do these things like this. And then hit you with the uneven like that. And then when you were like 10, you just thought that was the coolest thing ever. But I use it as a way to just separate some foreground, background kind of elements. Have some purpose for the nonsense. And I might even use some there, actually. Let me do it this way. You see, I'm just separating that characters from the background a little bit. Why not? All right. 3 down. 3 to go. This is where we're at right now. And this is where we have to be before the head hits the pillow this evening. I kind of am thinking that I feel like blasting some music. So that means I might bounce so that I don't infringe upon anybody's copyright or whatever. It's been super fun. Happy to let you guys know that I'm back to streaming, and I might do one every day. You know, I have like 8 more pages of this strip to do, and probably put some ink down on every page to some extent on a stream. So let me bounce. I'm thinking I want some of that Jamie Hewlett energy, so I might just blast some Gorillas while I work. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell. It'll let you know whenever the next streams go live. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been a heck of a day, man, because Jimmy and I have been working on Cartoonist Kayfabe since 8 in the morning. Still a lot of work to do, man, because we run two businesses. Cartoonist Kayfabe and Eddie P Comics, man. So I'm going to get to it. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you grabbed the trade paperback. If you didn't, scoop up some comics right there at that link. All right, man. I'm going to get to it and be way less, self-conscious and just grind the rest of this motherfucker out. So have a good night, guys. Read more comics, make more comics.